What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jesse and this is video 4 in my bungalow renovation series, and today we're working on plumbing. I know, very exciting. This is the kind of stuff that you don't get to see on HGTV. They just kind of whiz past it and then they show you, bang, the finished product. But the systems in your house are extremely important, whether you're a homeowner or an investor. And so we're going to do a little bit of a plumbing repair in the kitchen. Talk about why venting is important and how the repair that was there when I bought the house didn't incorporate a vent. So that was going to have problems if I just left it as is. During that process, I found out that the main shutoff valve in the house didn't work, so we're going to fix that as well. Sometimes you kind of chase your tail for a little while to make sure everything is fixed. And the main shutoff valve is really something that you always need to know. You need to know where it is if you're a homeowner, and you need to know why it's important, especially if you're a landlord, so that your tenants can know where it is. Because if anything goes wrong in the house, the main shutoff valve will stop water flowing immediately. It's the most important valve in your house. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Looking into the kitchen, I'm going to work on a couple plumbing things. So what we see here is the original drain line. That's where the kitchen sink would go in and drain down that lead piece there, and then this part up here goes up and out of the house. That is called the vent, and that allows air to pull down when water goes through so that there's not a suction, that it doesn't get stuck. So that's important. And then whoever replumbed this did not take that into account, so this just goes straight down and out a drain line, and there is no vent. So what I'm going to do is take this piece out, partially because I don't like it coming out of the floor. It makes it a pain in the ass to install the cabinet, and then partially because I want to tie back into this vent. So I'm going to cut right here, then I'm going to take this piece out. I'm going to splice in PVC down this way. This will come out and the PVC will come down, make an angle, and then tie into the pipe that's right here under this. So the pipe will come out of the wall, it'll have a vent, and it'll be clean and much nicer. The other thing I'm going to do is, these are called shutoff valves right here. That's a shutoff valve, and that brings the water supply in on that copper line. There are two of them, one there and one there. And one of the most important things you can do when you first buy a house, especially if it's this old, is look and see if there's any evidence of a leak. And sure enough, there is. So these shutoff valves are meant to stop the water coming out of the pipe when nothing is connected, when the sink is not connected. Unfortunately, they don't stop the water, so I had to go all the way to the main shutoff and turn off water into the entire house because these were leaking and, getting on the floor. So what I'm going to do is cut the pipe right here, just below the shutoff valve, and install a new one right here that has a different type of technology that will just allow it to drop right onto the top of the copper pipe, seat, and work and shut the water off. So let's walk through that. Okay, first thing, I'm going to take my Sawzall, cut this pipe as close to the ground as I can get it, try to take that out so that I can pull it beneath the floor and cut a section right about here so that I can bring the new length of pipe in. Then I'm going to get my angle grinder with a metal cutoff blade and see if it can get through this. I may need to get a diamond blade for it, but we'll try it and cut it off right about here. The angle grinder was making some progress cutting through the pipe. I got about halfway through it, but it's not, the angle disc is not large enough to get all the way through. So I switched to a diamond carbide blade on my Sawzall, and I'm going to keep trying to get through this. It's going to be kind of a little back and forth to get the angle. I may have to finish it with the angle grinder. We'll see what we do.
this pipe is very likely original to the house. This is an old lead piece of pipe. They use lead because it's more flexible and you can make these tight turns. It's all kind of just patched together. Man. So that's out. We're gonna run a flex fit here. It'll tie into the stack and we'll go down and under the floor and tie into this with a piece of PVC. So we'll get those connections made once I get the pipes. This will all sit behind the cabinet and the drywall. So just trying to get prepped to do finishing cabinets and drywall. Got to get the walls, the stuff behind the walls done first because it's a whole lot easier to do that before you close the wall up. Okay, the last piece we're going to do here is we're going to cut these shutoff valves off. We're going to cut just below them on the pipe using this little pipe cut tool. Works with a little blade, the blade right here, and this tightens down and squeezes onto the pipe, and you spin it and it cuts a very clean piece of pipe. Not the cleanest cut I've ever made, but shutoff valve is off. Now we're going to take this. This fitting works by just pressing straight down onto the pipe. So once I press this down, it will compress the pipe and stay on very snug. Okay. Fitting is installed, pops on, quarter turn, and it is on. So when I turn the water back on and this is turned off, that's the shut off, no water will come shooting out of here. So now I'm going to do this one and we'll do a water test. Okay, so I've got my assembly together. This is dry fit. I've already test fit it. So what we've got here is a flex fitting that will tie this to the iron stack pipe. So this will go here, then this comes down inside the wall. This will stub out so that the kitchen sink can drain down into it. Then it will go down through the sweep fitting here, sweep fitting down, and then this will tie into the pipe underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it and screw it all together. I've got a 5/8 bit on my drill that will, on my impact, that will close these up. And then I've got some OD Fusion single step PVC cement. This is a lot cleaner than the multi-step where you have to do the purple primer and it drips everywhere. I really like this product. So you wipe it on the inside of the fitting and on the top of the pipe and push them together and it welds them in place. So once you've put them in, there's no going back. So I'll go ahead and take this apart and glue it together. To make sure that this is pointed straight out the wall. It's also set at 22 inches high off the finished floor. That's good. Now we're going to go down to the basement and finish up the install.
It's a little difficult to see down here, but that's where the pipe goes down through the floor. There's some foam insulation there, and then this pipe section will go right through that foam, connect the sweep to the pipe, and then connect into this drain line here. So that's where that flex fitting will connect, and it will follow that down and on to the main drain line. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all glued and put together, and I'll show you the final product. And this is the finished product. Those black lines are where I marked the connection, so I know that I had it in the right direction. I needed to offset just a little bit to bring the pipe from there down this way. And then there's where it ties into the ABS pipe and out through the floor. So now we have one continuous drain line with a vent. All right, just to put a bow on this assembly, so we've got the vent that comes down. The water will go in here, go straight down, out, and down the main drain. So then we'll have a length of pipe. This is just a placeholder for now. It fits in here. This will come through the back of the wall. And this fitting, which it's a 1/2 inch threaded, this will go over top here and get glued. And then this nut loosens so that I can put this, which you may have seen before, under your sink. It's got a trap that holds water and traps sewer gas from getting in. That just slides right into this. Tighten that down. Okay. And then this can be flexed around to fit the sink. This is where the downspout of one sink will go. Another one will come out here, downspout of the other one. All goes together, water goes down the trap, down and out. So when you talk about how a job can kind of get out of hand, you start chasing your tail, this is the main water shut off of the house. When I tried to close it and then reopen it to test if my upstairs shutoffs worked, I found out that it leaks. So I have to replace it as well. So when it's in the open position, it just drips water. Can't have that. So I'm gonna have to cut this out and use what's called a slip repair fitting. This is another push fit connector by SharkBite. Water comes in the house here, goes up to this. This is where you shut the whole thing off. Very important thing to know about in your house. You turn it, you shut all the water off to the house, you can make repairs as needed, and then you reopen it, and then it goes up and through to the rest of the house. So this is a very important fitting. I'm gonna take this, cut this out with my little pipe cutter, same one I used before, and push this in, and I'll show you that process. So very important, I also turned the water off at the street. So you can see some dripping. This would be running out pretty hard if it was under pressure. Hopefully it's all cut off at the street. I went out and turned it off. We're gonna find out pretty quickly if it's not. So we're gonna cut north of the pipe, north of the shutoff first. So in case it is not completely off at the street, I can turn the shutoff valve and cut it off again. Valve is off. This is the old shutoff valve. It's all oxidized and leaky. Not what you want. Okay. So this is the new one. I always like to have the this piece pointed in the direction of the flow, so it's going to be pointing up. So the first piece I want to do is to push this on. Okay. Seats all the way down. And then this allows me to push against the fitting. This slips over the pipe, and I can push against it, which will allow it to rock up. Okay, sometimes you have to get a pair of pliers to help press against this. So this is a collar, and it presses against a piece of the fitting that allows it to release and slide upwards onto this one. So let's see if we can get it to do that. Okay, so if you saw it slide up, it slid onto this. So this is an inch down into it. This is up into this piece, and now the quarter turn valve is off. So when I go open the water at the street,
this should stop it until I open it and then send it to the rest.
That'll about do it for video number 4. I hope you learned a little bit about plumbing systems and something that you can apply to your home or one of your investment properties. In the next video in this series, I'm going to be doing some drywall work. The ceiling in the house needs a lot of work. It's some old plaster ceiling with cracks going through it, holes where I removed walls, and so we're going to get to the ceiling and start making it look nice. If that interests you, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you're alerted when that video shows up. Also give us a like, helps out that YouTube algorithm, and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think, what you want to learn, and if there's any plumbing skill that you think you picked up in this video that you're going to use. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.